Beauty comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, and forms. My life is about bringing out that beauty in everything and helping others do the same. Hello everyone, my name is Jewel. I am the owner, designer, and creator behind Shabby Boutique. If you want to see how I make my creations, the products I use, and how you can create your own home decor from new, thrifted, or found items, then keep watching. Hello everyone, I'm back again. I know, this year I had planned on making lots of content and doing lots of things, and things just did not work out as planned. I wound up tearing the meniscus in my knee and a bunch of, it just seemed like it was just one thing after another this past year. So we're going to start off 2026. Hopefully I will be able to do what I need to do, and all the issues are behind me. I finally got an MRI, which is how I actually know that I tore my meniscus, because this has actually been going on since July. And the doctor wouldn't do an MRI so that we knew what was going on. Long story. Basically, it was hard to walk and do anything. But now I can finally walk now that we know what it is. I got a steroid shot in my knee. Everything's good. So, as you all know, the IOD spring release is coming out pretty soon. But I wanted to do something else. Just to kind of get back into the groove before, I film all that stuff. So I just wanted to do a quick video, or try to do a quick video. You know me, once I get going, but I just wanted to kind of do a quick video and talk about like backgrounds. So like when you're doing a tray and you're going to put, some transfers on it or some molds or something, and you want to do something in the background so that it's just not plain, but it's not something that's in your face. So a muted background or a monochromatic background, or just kind of thinking outside the box. Like I said, I've been doing graphic design for a very, very long time. And some of my favorite like templates that I did for customers for their websites and stuff was like, I would take a black background and then I would have an illustration of, like, let's say like the old antique corsets. And I would do it in like a dark gray that was just slightly lighter than the black, or the black background, just to have some interest, a little something in the background that, again, wasn't in your face, but it just gave it some texture and dimension. And so I've been thinking about this for a while, and we all love to decoupage. We all love to stamp. We all love to do the transfers and stuff. But I got to thinking about those templates that I used to do with the monochromatic backgrounds, and I was like, we could do that with the backgrounds on the stuff that we create. And so I just wanted to come on and just show you some examples of what I'm talking about, and see what happens. Just kind of play a little bit. We are going to be using Little Black Dress from DIY, as well as Black Velvet. We're going to do some decoupage and some stamping, and I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And then if you guys would like me to actually create something, like I could do like a riser or a tray or something like that, and actually show you an actual project using these, let me know in the comments. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm just going to take some tags. Like I said, these are just samples just to show you kind of what I'm talking about. Like I said, just a whole nother level of crafting. I pulled out some tags. I pulled out some napkins, various napkins. Have some Halloween ones. Just this is part of my decoupage line I've been working on. a piece, you know, of that. And I have a couple of stamps, so we're going to try some stuff with that. And then, of course, you know, IOD black ink. So the first thing I'm going to do is, how many napkins and decoupage papers do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of these I'm going to paint with Little Black Dress, which is the blackest of the DIY paints. Black Velvet is more of a charcoal black, so it's an extremely dark gray, or a step up from black, if that makes any sense. You'll see later. Anyway, so 5 of these I'm going to paint Little Black Dress because I'm going to decoupage these papers over top of it. So let's start with that. All right, so how has everybody been? Good, I hope. Like I said, my year has been, it's been a thing. I mean, it's also been, there's been good things too. I've been so busy with Valentine's orders that I have not had time for anything. So there's been that too. It seemed like for a while there, I was getting 10 orders a day on all my various Etsy shops and stuff. And I make this, I hand tear muslin strips to make ribbon. And then I coffee stain it, bake it, and then I hand stamp on it. And it is quite a process for sure. It takes me a full day just to get all the ribbon made and coffee stained, baked, all that. And then it takes me another full day to take that batch and iron everything and get everything stamped. So you can find that in my crafting confections .etsy.com. I sell, this time of year, I sell a ton of Valentine ribbon and red toile that I hand stamp. And then coming up now, I've already started getting Easter orders. So I have a bunch of different ones with bunnies and stuff like that that I hand stamp. I am the original creator of the hand stamped ribbon. I started selling it back in '99 on eBay. And then whenever Etsy opened, the handmade community on eBay wasn't, things were just not, you know, things were slowing down. And so Etsy came around and I was like, you know what, let's try this new thing. And I've been on Etsy ever since, with a 9-year break in between, due to family issues and stuff. But yeah, back, I can't remember what year that was that Etsy started, but I switched over from eBay to Etsy and started with the muslin hand stamped ribbon or whatever. All right, I'm gonna dry these real quick. Okay, now that these are dry, I'm going to wash out my brush, and then we are going to use DIY's liquid patina, and we are going to decoupage these napkins on there. So I will be back in a second. Okay, we are back, and I'm going to start out sorry, I got water under my rings. Okay. So I'm going to start out with this roses one. And move these out of the way. And let me double check, make sure that is dry so we don't get black everywhere. All right, so I'm going to take that. Let's get our liquid patina down. Nice even coat. All right, then I'm going to lay that down over top. And then remember, I always tell you to keep your transfer papers from your transfers. I use those and just kind of push that down in there. And slowly pull it up. Okay, dry it a little bit. Okay. And I'm just going to take a little emery board. Now when I do the decoupage and I sand, I don't just go straight down. I actually go at an angle like this. I find that you don't have to do as much sanding as you do normally. If you just go straight up and down, it usually comes off faster. Okay. All right, set the napkin aside and let's put our top coat on. Again, using the liquid patina. And then I'm just going to set this aside to dry. And we will go to the next one. All right, let's figure out which one we want to do next. Let's try this one. And don't forget, you know, pull your plies apart on your napkin. You only want the top sheet on, make sure, you know, it's, if it's a 3-ply napkin that you're just getting that top, or if it's a 2-ply, they can be a little tricky to get apart sometimes. And if you see anything sparkling on my table, it's not just my personality. I have been working on Valentine's ornaments that require a lot of gold glitter, and so, you know, glitter gets everywhere and it's hard to get rid of. So I'm sure there's still some little pieces of glitter left that's probably shining. All right, so again, I guess I'll do that little skull there. So again, liquid patina, nice even coat. Lay And let's see if we can get that kind of centered a little bit. And what did I do with my, there it is. Again, just taking my transfer paper, and then that way I can rub it in. Then I get no creases or wrinkles. And then I'm going to dry it. All right, set that napkin aside and get our top coat on this one. And this is great for like the dark and moody type stuff. And like I said, it just creates depth and texture, which I am a huge fan of. So set that aside to dry. Grab another one. Let's try another napkin and see what happens. Let's see. If I have that bird I can put on there. I'll try that. These napkins are really pretty because, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a blue and white toile, but it has just a slight touch of pink behind it. It's really pretty. I don't know if you can see that or not. Oops. You can see the pink like inside the bird. It's really pretty. Anyway. Where was I at? Oh, that's right. I was going to do the bird maybe. Yeah, I'll just do that floral there. All right. Now that's ready to go. Get a nice even layer. All right, set this napkin aside. Get another coat of liquid patina on there. And set that aside to dry. And let's try another napkin. All right, that's ready. Little chunk from the lid. Get that out of there. Oh, here's a little tip for, like, especially the DIY paints. Since they are clay based, you know, if you don't completely close them, that they have a tendency to like dry out around the lid or whatever, or around the top of the jar. I store all of my DIY paints, including the cottage colors. I store them upside down, and that keeps the air from coming into it. So they last longer. They don't dry out and stuff on top. And here I stopped and my liquid patina started drying, so I have to redo it. All right, now for this one. Here's my piece of paper. The other thing that you can try too is doing the dry decoupage method, where you use Mod Podge and you put it on, let it dry, and then once it dries, you lay your paper over top and then iron it on. I don't know where my little iron is. If I did, I would try that right now. But if that's something that you guys want me to play around with, just let me know. I would be more than happy to do that. All right, dry this a little bit. So, quick question for everyone who's watching. Let me know in the comments section what music you're listening to today. What kind of mood are you in? I personally love music, and I like pretty much all music, all genres. But you know, every day I have a different mood, so I have a different playlist. What's on your playlist for today? I was listening to a little bit of Arcadia, So Red the Rose earlier, which for anyone who's never heard of it, it is Simon Le Bon and I think Simon Taylor? I can't remember. It's one of my favorite albums. I love that album. Anyway, it's kind of like when they did that, was it Power Station that they did? It was just kind of like a little offshoot side project that they worked on. But besides them being on it, there's all kinds of other artists. There's David Bowie and a bunch of other people that are included in the album as well. It's a really good album. Anyway, so let's get the top coat on there. All right, set that one aside to dry. All right, now I'm gonna try, like I said, my decoupage paper, which I will be bringing to fruition this year. That is something I've actually been working on for several years. It's been a frustrating journey, very frustrating, working with printers and then things happening that shouldn't have happened, or it's been a thing. But I think I finally have everything figured out. So I do sell some designs on Zazzle, and I sell a lot on there. but I want my own line, my own designs, like all right. Oop. This one seems like it's drying out a little faster than the other ones. Okay. All right, I think I'm just gonna do this little corner here. And if you're wondering, when on that paper, there's like the shiny side, I put that side down. One of the reasons why I do this, I use this paper on the back of stamps. Excuse me, when I'm stamping, I'll lay this down and then rub my stamp in. I use it for decoupaging. That's why I always say, save your transfer sheets. I use them for putting paint on or wax. But your fingers slide across it really easily and it doesn't stick to your project. This tissue paper's obviously thicker than the napkins. But this was one of my pieces of one of my samples. And this tissue paper is a really good weight. And it's so easy to work with. I've already done some furniture with it. All right, set that aside and get our next coat of liquid patina on there. And then while those are drying, we're going to work on my next idea with stamps. All right, set this aside to dry and we will take a peek at those later. Close that up for now. All right, now for my next idea, what did I do with the other two? Oh, there they are. I'm gonna do a couple of examples. I'm gonna do just a number, and I'm gonna do something a little more decorative. Like I said, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So this is, like I said, this is Black Velvet by DIY. It is a charcoal black, not the dark black that we used on the other tags. Little black dress. And there's a reason for that, and I will show you in a minute. I need to wash my brush out, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. All right, again, Black Velvet by DIY. The one thing I love about the DIY paint is it's so pigmented that 9 chances out of 10, one coat is good enough. So we will just have to do one coat. And remember this, these ideas that I'm giving you with adding texture and stuff to your backgrounds or details, depth, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have to be black. You can do it on green or whatever color to make kind of more of a monochromatic background or whatever. I'm just using black because everybody does white, so I'm just doing the opposite. Also, and then for this idea, this is like that monochromatic black on black look. I don't know how to, like, what you would call it. But you can use any brand of paint too. You can use milk paint or the cottage colors, you know, like Anvil or whatever when you're doing these decoupage too. All right, I'm gonna dry these. Okay, so for this next process I'm doing, again, I have water under my rings. That drives me crazy. I'm just gonna take some, like I said, this is the black velvet. So it is a charcoal black. I wish I would have showed you the difference between the two, but I don't have anything that's painted with the little black dress. But trust me, it's just like 2 shades lighter, maybe 1 shade lighter than little black dress. All right, and then I'm actually just going to use the lid to stamp with. And I'm just going to take my IOD black ink. I always stamp on paper first to double check. It kind of primes the stamp, in my opinion. And then I'm just going to stamp and dry it. And then can you see that? Now let's, well, I'm gonna get my liquid patina out to cover it over, but let's go ahead and stamp this one first. So I'm just gonna take this one. You know how the stamps are sticky? Like I said, keep your transfer papers. Your hand slides right over it. Anyway, so that's good. It's primed and ready to go. And then I'm just going to turn it sideways and stamp. Rub it in. See that? But see how it just adds some dimension and gives it more interest and texture? So let's go ahead and clear coat over them, because as you know, the DIY paint will darken once you wax over it or clear coat over it. All right, let's try these. All right, so it's a little shinier, so it's kind of hard to see in the camera, but I think you can get the gist of what I'm talking about. The 3 is obviously going to be easier to see, but it just put that on the background on a tray with like the rose toile or kindest regards, and then do some gold foil over it, and you know, a rose transfer, and you know, your background won't be just plain black, and it just adds more texture and more elegance to it. And like I said, when I would do graphic design, I would do this where it was just kind of like a tone on tone and just a little texture in the background. And those were always some of my favorite templates and websites and stuff that I created. So there's those. Now these are dry, the decoupage ones. So let's take a look at them. Here's the my decoupage paper, the tissue paper. Now this is obviously thicker than the napkin, so you're going to get the white from the paper or whatever, but in a second I'm going to grab my black wax and go over these two to darken them even further. But there's the skull, and again it just adds some interest. And there's the one with the roses, the pink one. Here was that blue and white toile one, or chinois. And then this was that, the blue napkin. Okay, and then let's see what happens when we add a little black wax. Just gonna do like half of it. Rub those off in a minute. All right, let me grab something to wipe those off with. Okay. So, a little bit of a difference. This is the side with the wax. This is the side without. It tones it down even further. Again, the side with the wax and without. And there's that one. And then there's that one. Which it looks like, I can't really tell on my little viewfinder, but to the naked eye, what I'm seeing is a couple shades darker. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera. So that was my tutorial for today. Like I said, it's just, I was thinking about, you know, my graphic design and when I used to do websites and stuff, and just thinking about some of the designs that I created, you know, trying to come up with some more ideas for the tissue paper. I'm hoping to do have like 10 designs whenever I come out with it. Like I said, that will be this year. So I am excited about it. I've gotten frustrated several times with things happening, companies not holding up their end of the bargain, etc., etc. And, you know, you get excited, you work so hard, and then things happen, and then you get deflated. And so you take a step back again, and you focus on something else for a while. And then, you know, you kind of get that under your belt again that, okay, let's go, let's try it again. Let's, you know, and like I said, this has been 3 years in the making, and I'm really excited and hoping that this time it is it, that this is the one. I think I've got it, but anyway. So again, just wanted to show you these so you can see just a way to add more interest to your work. With some texture, some dimension, some background. So that's it for me for today. Again, the IOD spring release is going to be here February 5th. It's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard. Oh, I always get it confused. Between 10 and 1. I live in Missouri in the St. Louis area, so for me, Central Standard Time, it'll be noon is when it comes out here. Sorry, it's been a long day. My brain is just not working. Anyway, so it will be out. I will have it on my website. I will have it in both of my booths at Painted Tree, the one at Maplewood, Missouri, and the one at Ballwin, Missouri. The entire collection I will have in stock. I'm not one of those people that only get a few things. When a release comes out, I get everything, and I get enough for everyone. So I will have plenty. So, and again, if there's anything that you want to see me create or anything that you want to see me try, new products, whatever, leave me a comment down below. Let me know, is this something that you plan on doing on some of your next projects? I've got a couple of other ideas of things that I remember I used to do back in the day for crafting, and I haven't seen anybody do it in forever, and so I'm going to kind of bring some old crafts back. I've got some plans for some stuff. So yeah, if I don't see you before then, I will be seeing you for the spring release. I will have a video as usual. Will come out at the same time as the release. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you subscribe, follow, like, whatever, you can find me. Everything's down in the comment section or in the description section. All the links for my Etsy stores, my website, my Facebook, Instagram, everything's down there. And I guess I will bid you all adieu, and I will see you later. Let me know what you think of this project, and if you have any questions or something in particular you would like to see me make, or a product in particular you would like to see me use, feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you ever so much for watching, and until we meet again, have a most serendipitous day. Hugs to all. Love, Jewel.